one of the things, and this I must attribute to the person who told me, Rohan Shah of ELP told me that one big buzz that was going around was that he may consider combining excise and service in order to sort of very clearly signal that we are serious about GST, and while we wait for the states to get on board, here's what we are doing on our end to start pushing towards that reform. Now, I don't fully understand what that means and what the implications are, so I'm hoping if you'll help me understand what does that mean, what are the implications, and therefore is it realistic? What does that mean?
So this is something that's been doing the rumor mills for the last few days. I haven't heard of it before this. So it would mean a great deal if they were going to tax all services with some limited exemptions, like essential medical treatment, things like that.
Right.
They have tried to go down that road by selectively bringing in more services, and they faced a pushback from some sensitive sectors. So there's no indication that they would want to take on this battle before they need to take it on anyway at the time of bringing in GST.
So you're saying to combine the two, you have to be able to sort of apply service tax on a wider net of services than is currently under the...
No, you don't need to. So you can do two things. One, you can make service tax applicable on all services. Currently, it's applicable on 110 or so selective services. So you can make it widely applicable. Or on the other hand, you can effectively just put the two things in the same law, okay, without making any change. Now, if they do the latter, all it means is that it doesn't mean much.
I agree with Vivek, and the reason I feel is that the input side of tax, the excise and service tax is already integrated. So service tax, whether you are paying for excise, the credit of goods and services is both available. Similarly, while paying service tax, it's excise duty and for inputs and service tax is available. So the input side is aligned. The output side, he cannot do a major tinkering at this point of time because when GST comes, there will be huge shifts. If you start shifting from there today, there will be a lot more litigation happening. So defining as to what is a supply or what point to tax, that cannot happen. But there have been drafts on point of taxation, how to pay taxes. There's a difference in how you pay taxes in excise, how you pay taxes in service tax. Excise you pay at the time of when you issue an invoice. Service tax you pay when you receive the money. So those things can be aligned, may be aligned, but nothing major would happen in terms of changing, because the industry has to change a lot of systems, and they will be changing when GST comes. So they are not very really excited that too many changes should happen today.
Mohan, what's your opinion? Before you answer my question, I'm going to add another twist to that question because I don't fully understand this issue. I think the additional question to that question is also that if he chooses to merge the two, then does he keep the rate at 10% or does he edge it closer to the anticipated GST rate of 16%? The latter being unfeasible in this inflationary environment, as we've already discussed, and so therefore will he choose to keep it at 10%? Can you explain all of this?
I'll answer the second question first.
Okay.
Whether he'll align himself or whether he'll go away from 10% and then go nearer 16%. My feel would be that he should be keeping it at 10% because if you generally see the general feel of what CGST is 10%. Now, we don't see a reason why he would go back to 16%. The state might have its own share when the legislation comes for taxing the services, but as of date, he might not switch from 10 to 16, which would be
Why
too
not?
drastic. It will be too drastic in its implication.
Okay.
That's one. Now, getting back to your main question as to whether the codification is going to be codification in the sense that merging the excise and service tax together. I feel that yes, he could do this for only one reason. The service tax got introduced in the year 1994. Now, they have been making attempts to make a codified rule. The codification would essentially mean bringing in a lot of judicial interpretations into the law itself. Whether he would be able to do it, yeah, in a way, he can do it because he would then send a signal saying that yes, at the central level, I am trying to integrate the two. So the states have also to come on board quickly. That's one. The second thing I would feel is that even if you...
So you're saying yes, he can, he may consider it. It's not just a crazy rumor.
It doesn't appear to be one. The second thing which is equally important or which appeals to me would be that You look at many of these provisions in the service tax, which is under the Finance Act 1994. Now, many of these provisions say that we rely on the excise provisions. Now, why would he do it rather than putting it? Even if you look at the SENVAT credit rule, it's a merged one.
Oh, no, so you'll have to say that in English to me. I have no clue what you just said.
Okay, I'll get back very simply. Today, what is happening, the VAT system itself, as is going on,
Right,
it's got integrated into a rule called SENVAT credit rule.
right, okay.
Which means that a manufacturer could avail the services, the credit thereof could be utilized by him.
Okay.
It's already part of the system. Now, what he's trying to do is this. He is trying to bring in that service tax, which is the main, which was covered under legislation under the Finance Act 1994, back into something like a Central Excise Act. Okay. What I was saying was that there are many provisions in this Finance Act which says that if things are not taken care of by the Finance Act 1994 for service tax, let's say he would be relying upon the Central Excise Act.
Okay.
Okay. So which virtually means it's already there today. He's only going to merge it in the sense that, yes, I'll present you a single act called Central Excise Service Tax Act. Something
Okay,
like that.
all right, okay, I get that, though I'll never be able to repeat it. Then that brings me to the last core issue that I wanted to talk about, and I think to some degree we've already touched upon it, which is the service tax issue. You said that one way he could raise revenue was to expand the net of services. I don't know if in all this aligning to GST, it will also mean an increase in the service tax rate, so to speak. What are you expecting on services? Is he going to be able to substantially expand the net? Because I think of the three, excise, customs, and service tax collections in the last fiscal or the fiscal that's going on, service has been the most disappointing, so to speak, right? So is there something that he can do to help boost that revenue by maybe widening that net?
No, I don't think so, because they have two options. They've gone down the road of taxing various services that are used by consumers and various services that are used by industry, like say advertising agencies, for example. So that whole area is pretty much covered, and in the last 3-4 years, every new service they've introduced has just covered a small niche which they later found out wasn't quite covered by the existing categories.
Okay.
So they've kind of got that covered wall to wall. So the way that they can increase it is by increase the coverage of service tax is by going to entirely new sectors, such as education, if they want to. So that's a pretty.
So what is the likelihood
bold-
of that happening?
I don't think it will happen. I don't think that. I don't think it
You
would
know,
be.
Vivek, you said no to everything I've asked. So I'm going to come back to that core issue of why you believe nothing is going to happen. But Vipin, service tax, what are you anticipating? Widening of the rate, a change in rates?
Change of rates, it may be warranted because of aligning to GST, but
So how much could it go up to?
I feel not in this budget. It maximum.
Okay, worst case scenario, how much could it? 12%.
But in terms of increasing the base by a small tinkering or small addition of services won't increase revenue substantially.
So you are saying he has very little scope of being able to substantially increase his service tax revenue by widening the base, and he's unlikely to increase the rate.
Yes.
Is that what both of you are
That's
saying?
correct.
Mohan, you agree with that?
The service sector contributes a huge quantum to the GDP. Now,
Right.
how does he tap it? Now, he should be able to tap it. I would believe that he is not able to tap more than 2 to 3% of the whole thing. Now, there is a substantial gap there which he could tap. And how does he know it? He can just broad base it and bring in a negative list. What will happen is the B2B kind of thing, that is business to business. He could easily allow the VAT system to operate, which means that the cost to business does not increase. The rest of it, he could selectively give exemptions, and then he could come up and say that, yeah, like for example, education. If he wants that, yes, it's socially very relevant and important, he might not tax it heavily. He might bring in an exemption. But in other cases, he will say that I'll tax it to the full.
So Mohan, if in the context of what we've already discussed, therefore, the last question, what does industry like yours expect from budget 2011?
What we expect is, number one, hold back the rates. That's a straight answer, which I have been saying, and my colleagues here are endorsing this. Number two would be that, bring in the VAT, which is more broad-based. What I was talking is cost to business kind of situation where the whole thing will be VATed, so that the litigations can come down and the uncertainty can go away. Number three, what we would want is an integration of tax, which I have already spoken of. Number four, what we would require is the CST should be really brought down. In fact, way back in 2010, it was to be made zero. It's still at 2%. And CST is not a tax which is.
But I think he did make noises about it going away altogether when GST comes into play.
Yeah, but it was to be phased manner from 2010 when the GST was to be introduced. He started with 4, 3, and then he held back at 2.
Okay. Has he left anything for you to put on your list, Bipin?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So my first thought would be that he shouldn't be carried away by the rumors.
No, but the two of you can exhaust the list because I know Vivek is going to say that I have many expectations, but none of them are going to happen, so forget it. Why even talk about it?
I think I am of the same school of thought. And my thought would be that too much of tinkering is not what industry wants. And merging excise or service tax beyond a small portion.
So let's kill the rumor now. Don't do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Even so, there are certain beneficial things like merging different rates, various taxes which are there, those can be merged. Like 5 taxes which were there, various cesses can be merged.
Yeah, got it.
That is a good thing. There are certain irritants which are there in the law. They should be ironed out. So CENVAT credit, there's a huge irritant, a lot of litigation going on, definition of input services and capital goods. This is a time when you do not have something in the horizon. So to build it towards a GST or whatever, a proper credit system, this is the time to do it. So small tinkering, yes, but nothing major. Some services new, but nothing major again.
I think that they're plugging along on this on the road to GST. I think that it's a little unrealistic to expect substantial progress every 2-3 months.
Sure.
And maybe the pressure of that expectation is what causes them to announce these integrations and things like that.
They haven't announced, it's just a rumor as of yet. Why blame it on the government,
yeah,
right?
Okay, I stand corrected. So I think that behind the scenes they're working away on it, and they're working on the big objective, which is GST, which is great.
And what you told us off record, right? It will come on April 1st. You just don't know which year it is.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, gentlemen. Let me thank all three of you for making an indirect tax conversation so interesting. So Vivek and Bipin and Mohan, thank you very much for being on this episode of Taxing Times. Next week is our finale episode. We look at the big picture, India's competitiveness from the tax policy point of view. Make sure you tune in next week.